Morning folks, welcome to episode 5 of the Eva Christie hand knitting podcast. I am recording here at Amida, Scotland. It's not as bizarre as it might sound. One of my closest friends is a Buddhist priest, and just to kind of put that in equivalent terms for those of you who might not know what that is. If you're in Scotland, it's the equivalent of a Christian minister. If you're in England, that's the equivalent of vicar. I'm not quite sure what the equivalent is elsewhere. Sujatin follows the path of the Pure Land priest, which is the main sort of order out in Japan. And I am very privileged and humbled to be allowed to look after the temple, look after her home, and to look after her gorgeous cat Tashi while she is away on holiday with her lovely husband. Sujatin had a very special birthday just a couple of days ago, so happy birthday Sujatin. I hope you got my message. I know that you are somewhere that doesn't have the best of sort of like telephone reception or Wi-Fi or anything like that, which just sounds like absolute bliss to me. But I love being here at Amida, Scotland. The minute I step through the door, I just feel at complete peace. It's located in the Barn Hill area of Perth, which is just at the foot of Canoe Hill. It's a beautiful house. It's just got such a wonderful, serene energy. The garden is absolutely stunning, and it was glorious yesterday. So I was out, and even though I was covered in sun cream and covered up at the time that it got the hottest, I think I might have got slightly scorched on my arm, because as you can see I am very peely-wally, as us Scots call it, which is just extremely pale. I don't tend to tan, I tend to go from milk bottle white to lobster. But it's just the most wonderful place to be. There are rabbits in the garden. At the point that I arrived late on Saturday afternoon, there were rabbits in the front garden. I've seen the wild ducks already. Tashi is so excited about them, so I was hoping that he would come and get some cuddles and show you his gorgeous self. He's a silver Maine Coon, and he is just adorable. He's 15, so he's a good age, and he's a big boy. But he's found a sunbeam, so he's fully stretched watching his wild ducks at the moment, who are at the duck pond. There are little tadpoles, there are newts in the pond, which is in the garden. I haven't seen any of the red squirrels yet, but this is red squirrel area. It's quite bizarre in Perthshire that we have both red squirrels and grey squirrels living in quite close proximity in some areas, and the further north you go into Highland Perthshire, the more red squirrels you tend to see, but you do get them on Canoe Hill. And I've been told that occasionally deer come into the garden as well, so I'm really excited about that. I've got the garden here just to, don't know how much you can see in the camera, just to the side of me here, and it's just another glorious day. I can't wait to get out there. But I was really excited about filming and talking to you, so I wanted to get that done first. So good morning, it's the 9th of May. Did I say the 9th of June? I don't know. Just... It's the 9th of May. It's the morning. I've had 2 cups of coffee, maybe it's not been enough so far. So I'm just going to pick up my show notes here and let you know what's going on. Please excuse the messy hairdo here. It's just been so hot. It's just a case of trying to get it up off my neck and try and cool down a wee bit, because it's so glorious, so warm here. But I really do feel the extremes of heat, that I get to the point where I'm so cold and it really isn't that cold that I can't warm up. And then I have the exact extreme as well, where if it starts getting warm I really struggle to cool down. There's just no winning, no winning in this life at all. So can I say, you know, thank you to all my viewers and subscribers. Things are starting to go through the roof a wee bit there. Welcome back to all my subscribers, and if this is the first time you're tuning in, hello to you, you're more than welcome. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Yeah, I've been busy. You can find me at let's start again on that one, shall we? You can find me as Pan Within on Ravelry. We now have a group, folks. You need to go and join the group within Ravelry to be eligible to take part in any KALS and giveaways. Just before I started recording this morning, I went and checked the subscribers on YouTube. And you may remember, if you've watched before, that I did say when we got to 100 subscribers that I would do a little giveaway, but you need to be a member of the group on Ravelry as well to do that, to be eligible. So at the minute I've got 67 subscribers on YouTube. I have 23 members of the group, and to be fair, that only got set up a few days ago anyway. So if you're watching this now and you haven't joined the group, please join the group on Ravelry, because that's the only way that you're going to be eligible, and it's just because it's kept a bit more secure. We've got chatter threads and things going on there at the moment. I'm asking you to introduce yourselves, let me know where you're tuning in from. Anything else that you want to discuss, please get on there. I'm totally on it at the moment because it's such a new thing, so I am refreshing several times a day. David from Moulin Yarns very kindly donated this beautiful skein of yarn, which is hand dyed. It's double knit, it's baby alpaca. We've got 200 metres here for the 100 grams. So once we get up to the 100 subscribers, this will form part of the giveaway. So thank you, David. I know maybe not so much that you watch, but I do know that your lovely wife Linda watches. So Linda, hi. Thanks for this. It is really appreciated, and it was lovely to meet you recently because I've never met you before. So I'm just having a look at my show notes. As I said, I'm at Amita Scotland here. I have no finished objects to share with you once more, and I hope that you will forgive me for that. I'll show you what I've been up to. I mean, I've been really busy, and maybe I should just backtrack a wee bit here because I've just realised I didn't tell you all the places you can find me. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? I must look like a complete shambles for all you new viewers. I am so sorry. I'm not normally like this. So yeah, I am Pan Within on Ravelry. I am Eva Christie Hand Knitting on Facebook and Tumblr. Facebook is the social media that I do tend to use the most. I am at Eva Knits on Twitter. I'm trying to keep that updated at the moment, but I'm finding it's all going a bit by the wayside the more that I'm podcasting. And you can also email me at evachristiehandknitting@gmail.com. Okay, now I can move on. No finished objects, guys. Sorry. You'll see in a minute why, because I've been really busy with my works in progress. So I'm going to show you what's on my needles. So first up we have the cowl that I've been knitting for the Perth Syrian refugee appeal. I found the ball band, I brought it with me. So the yarn that I have been using is an acrylic yarn that was donated to me by my good friend Babs Beaton. So here's the label here, can you see that? I can't see whether you can see that or not. So it's Wonder Soft Acrylic from Merry Go Round. It's not crunchy acrylic, it's really quite a good premium soft acrylic. We've got 294 metres, which is 322 yards per 100 grams, and the shade I'm using is Peacock. Now I'm doing a brioche stitch. Brioche is very yarn hungry, or yarn intense. I'm now on the second ball, and I set myself some knitting goals while I'm away. This week I like to call it being away on retreat, because it just does put me in a different sort of mindset, different things to do. So one of my knitting goals that I set myself was to get this finished. So I will get it finished. So I'll just show you how much of this that I have managed now to get done. So I'm on to the second 100 gram ball. There it is, that's the peacock colourway. If I fold this over, you can kind of see how it is. So I do want it to wrap around twice. I want it to be unisex. I want it to be sort of suitable for any sort of age as well. So if I just keep going, and I will get this finished this week. This is one of the things to do. Then it's going to look round enough, be versatile, and it's quite springy. I know I've shown that to you before. It's quite springy, which is great because you want it to trap the heat, and it does get very, very cold in the camps at night time, even though it is getting sunnier and we're getting into summertime. But this will more than likely, with the rest of the care packages that I've already made, and it's not all just been knitted things that I've put in them. I've been making up all sorts of care packages because this is just really upsetting me a lot. These sorts of humanitarian crises do, and I don't know what it is, but this one in particular, but it's really affecting Josh and I big time. So where was I going with that? See, I'm just starting to well up a wee bit. So yeah, I would like to get that one finished. It'll probably go to the Serbian-Macedonia border, which is where quite a lot of the items that we sent before have gone. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter, just as long as it goes to someone who needs that bit of warmth, just that knowledge that someone's made something for them, and they're cared about, and it will get better. Better days are coming. The other item that I've got on my needles, and I don't suffer from second sock syndrome. I'm quite lucky about that. But I have just lost a wee bit of steam on my socks, and it's purely because one of the health conditions that I suffer from is fibromyalgia, and it's really been affecting my left shoulder badly. Unfortunately, I'm a bit hypermobile in some of my joints as well, so double whammy. The pain has been quite severe, and for me to say that the pain is bad means the pain is bad, and I'm on really quite strong neuropathic painkillers on a daily basis. As well as other bits and pieces, so I felt that I didn't want to completely give up knitting. That's one of the worst things that you can do, because you need to keep moving your joints. So the amount of people that complain, oh, I've got a bit of arthritis, I'm so sore. And don't get me wrong, because this is not World War III I'm starting here. There are different degrees of arthritis, and I tend to find that it's people that suffer from kind of age-related arthritis, as opposed to have been quite young with various autoimmune diseases who just have to kind of learn to live with it. Oh, I can't knit anymore. It's like, well, actually, knitting technology's come on a long way. Try bamboo needles, try them on a long cable, try different things, but it's just been a bit much to be knitting my socks, because they are on very small needles. I tend to find that I hold them up a bit higher, and because of all the sort of decreasing and the different sort of rib patterns, I'm moving stitches back and forth a lot, so this shoulder is getting quite a lot of movement. So I'm going to show you in a minute what I've really been concentrating on, and then you'll see that I haven't been completely slacking this week, but I just needed to give my shoulder a bit of a rest, that I don't really do it any significant damage by just sort of pushing on through, and to be honest, there's just no way on earth I could have pushed through anyway. So this is a Stepping Stone sock by Clara Parks. You would have seen this one before. It's in West Yorkshire Spinners, double knitting. I did have a look in the label, I couldn't see the colourway. I call it butterscotch. It's got some Rowan felted tweeds, which is a purpley shade, in the reinforced heel. Right down the foot now, and I'm just about to start shaping for the toe, which isn't bad at all, and I have just about run out of my first ball here of the West Yorkshire Spinners, so I am contemplating doing a contrast toe with the Rowan felted tweed again, so I'm going to have to think about that, and then we'll get the first one. But I don't get second sock syndrome, but I did have to just kind of put these down for a different reason, and if you'll excuse me for a moment, hay fever and allergies are just sort of kicking off, so I'm going to come off screen and blow my nose because it's incredibly rude to do it in front of you guys, okay? I'm back again, thank you. Right, the other thing that I've been doing now, I was doing one of these blankets way before the current craze, and I'm not sure who's kind of started it off. This is, to my mind, this is the knitting equivalent of the Running Man challenges going on at the minute on Facebook, or these no makeup selfies, or whatever these things are. This is the knitting equivalent. Everyone and their dog seems to be doing a Cozy Memories blanket. Now, I started one years ago, just out of scraps, and they were just known as mitered square blankets back in the day. I hadn't seen them advertised anywhere. What had happened was I was knitting a baby cardigan for, I don't want to get into all the downside of it, for a former friend who owned, at once upon a time, local yarn store in the Perthshire area, and that's all I'm saying. So some of you will put 2 and 2 together and get 4. Anyway, I did test knitting and knitted up prototypes and all sorts for this woman, and I knitted, I was knitting a little baby cardigan made out of tiny little mitered squares, and these mitered squares are only about 1 inch wide for each one. It's a little jacket that they buttoned up the front, and you looked at the back and it kind of, the pattern went with mitered squares up, and instead of all facing in one direction they faced away. And it was lovely, and I just thought, you know, I've got so many scraps of sock yarn, I'll do that square just slightly bigger. And I can't remember the name of the lady who wrote the pattern now, so apologies for that. I'm sure it's in Ravelry somewhere. In fact, I'm sure I've seen the same jacket in Ravelry, just a little baby's mitered square jacket with garter stitch edging and button band and things. But I thought, what a brilliant idea, I can use up my sock scraps, and over the goodness knows how many years that would be a lovely knit to do. Hiya Tashi! Hello, he's speaking. Are you going to speak to the public here? Do you want to come up and have cuddles? I'm wearing black, I'm wearing dark jeans and a black t-shirt. You're going to come and say hello. Look at this. Look at this. There's a camera. This is Tashi. This is this gorgeous boy that I'm looking after. You can say hello mum. Hello Sajatan. Hello mummy, hello daddy. I'm having a great time here. Yeah. Are you wondering what I'm doing in the shrine room? Yeah. You wondering what I'm doing in the shrine room, gorgeous boy? Yeah. Do you want to go down into my lap? You've chosen the best time of the podcast to come over as I'm about to lift up my big blanket and read my notes. What a clever boy you are. What a clever boy. You going down? And you're just going to sit in my lap? You're going to sit in my lap? What are you going to do, Bubba? Oh, look at me. I didn't bring a lint roller with me, oh my goodness. And I live with cats, but I've never met a cat as long furred as you, Tash. Right, you stay. Look at this tail. Right, yeah, so we were talking about cosy memory blankets, weren't we? So, I started knitting one, and I did the squares a wee bitty bigger than 1 inch. I think I might have done them about 1.5 to 2 inches. Anyway, I started working on this blanket. I must have put in about 20-25 little squares, and I just lost momentum. It went on a knitting timeout. I fell out of love with it. I felt that it was too much, it was too bitty, it was going to be too in your face. I was just learning how to pick up stitches properly at that time, and I wasn't doing it properly, so there were a few little holes, and I wasn't happy, so it got ripped out. And that's the wonderful thing about knitting. You should never ever be afraid to just completely rip back something. If you don't like it, or you think there's a better way to do it, or whatever, don't just power on, because chances are if you haven't liked it and you haven't given it kind of like, and you've given it a fair whack, then you're just not going to fall in love, or you're not going to use it at the end. So I took all these wee sort of minis out, as they're now being called, because it just used to be kind of scraps. It went on a knitting timeout. Anyway, it's been resurrected, and my Cosy Memories blanket, as they're now being called, so that's what I'll refer to it. So those in the podcasting and viewing communities kind of know what I'm getting at. Has larger squares, and that's purely because of how I felt about the previous one. Excuse me. And yeah, I think some of these sock yarns are just absolutely stunning. I mean, they're statement yarns on their own, so I wanted a decent size square, and I've not sized them up yet, but I will tell you how many stitches I cast on and such. I just wanted a decent size square to properly showcase them. So this is going to be quite a big section, because I'm going to take you through the different squares and yarns and things that I put in. Sorry, this must look really annoying for you, but I'm needing to get my hair re-dyed as well, and a wee bit of a trim and a tidy up. I'm trying to grow my hair back down a bit, but just all of a sudden my fringes got into stupid length and I didn't bring any Kirby's to kind of stick it back, and it just won't quite sit behind my eye, so sorry if that's annoying you, me keep pushing it to the side. So, Cozy Memory Blanket, I'm using a 3mm needle. I am casting on 71 stitches per square. And this is where I am. And this is what I've been doing primarily, as if I can get the full amount in the camera. This is what I've been doing to give my shoulder a rest, because it is just plain garter stitch, and it means that my left shoulder isn't moving a huge amount with it. So I'm just sort of resting up. It's mainly just sort of fingers working. So still getting a lot done. Steaming through stash, which is always a brilliant thing to do because my stash is ridiculous. But I'm going to run through, if you'll excuse me and bear with me, the yarns that I've used in this, because some of them are absolutely brilliant, some of them you can still get, some of them you can contact independent dyers and ask them if they'll maybe dye you a very similar colourway. You never get to quite the same in hand dyed, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of showcase these for you. So we'll start off with down here. This is the Knitting Goddess, and this colourway is called Royale with Cheese. And then I'm going to nip over onto this one, which some of you might recognise. This is Rusty Ferret in the colourway Delusion. Then I have this one down here. This one is Opal sock yarn. It's from Popcorn series and it's called Donna and Rob. And then going on to this one here. Sorry, I really can't see in the camera. So this one here. This one is also Opal. This is from Sweet and Spicy 3. This is Saffron. I love Opal sock yarns, absolutely gorgeous. So it's first 4. I think I've got 11 here to show you. And then this one's Sardar. This is Heart and Soul. It's quite a good sock yarn, this. Quite like this. Now please don't be fooled by the size of my squares, because I know they're a decent sized square and they're a lot bigger than sort of standard memory blanket. They might even be 4 times the size of other people's memory blankets, because I think a lot of people are sort of casting on about 46 stitches. They might be using a slightly bigger needle though, but these are all bits left from balls where I have already knitted bits and pieces, so none of these have just been bought purely to go and stick a square in. Although you can do that, there's not a problem, but it's supposed to kind of defeat the object of this sort of style of blanket, to be honest, and the fact that it's called Cozy Memories. So that is Sardar's Heart and Soul. This is shade 0101. And then we've got this one here. I don't know how well you can see it. I've still got all my ends kicking about as well. So this one here. This is Rico Superba Tweed and it's shade number 3. Then we've got some Bergerie de France and Gumi 50, and please forgive me because I've never had a French lesson in my life, so my pronunciation will probably be totally off. So this one's Rose. This is Lorna's Laces, which is a US brand. This is Shepherd sock yarn in number 202 B stripe, which is hand dyed. But look, isn't that just amazing? I love it. And then the last one, no, second last one, penultimate one that I'm going to talk about just now. This is another Opal. This is from Handwork and Hobby 2. This is Bricklayer. And then this one here, which I just finished last night. This is another Opal one. This is from Ladies and Gentlemen and the colour is called Original. And to quote David Bowie, Queen Bitch, oh man, I could do better than that original. I mean, that was the most bizarrely named. I mean, some of them are a bit bizarre anyway. Let's have a popcorn series. And let's call it Donna and Rob. I don't quite get that. I don't always quite get their thought process behind their colourways, but with Ladies and Gentlemen it was always kind of like a two-tone sort of colours. They're a bit more subdued than a lot of their other ones. And I think the one that was kind of like orange, shades of orange and white, I think it was called Lively. It was lively and enthusiastic, and they got original. Go figure. So that is my Cozy Memory blanket and how it's coming on. It's like I was saying, I set myself knitting goals. I wanted to do at least 4 squares in the time that I was here, and I think I've kind of smashed that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm on my 4th square now. So that's good. My knitting goals, I should say, were to finish the cowl, get at least 4 squares in the blanket, and I've got a pair of fingerless mittens that I'm wanting to design. I've kind of written the design down, it should work, but I want to knit up the prototype because I knit up all my own prototypes as well. And then when the pattern's done I'll get it technically checked and we should be good to go. I did set myself a few other goals. I mean, I have been podcast binging, so I set myself a goal that I wanted to listen to 20 complete knitting related podcasts while I was away, and I've listened to 9 so far, so that's not bad. Actually, squares, I've knitted 4, so that's fine. I've already smashed that one, so I'm making good progress on it all. So we'll go back to my show notes. I'm all over the place. I don't have normal notebooks and things with me here. I'll share with you what I've been reading. I've just got my books down here. Excuse me. So I finished Missing by Karen Altwegen. This is amazing. This was really good. There were a few sorts of twists and turns. I thought I had kind of a rough idea where it was going and then wasn't quite sure, and then you get thinking and yeah, totally smashed it. I was trying to think about a way of kind of doing the book reviews because I don't really want to talk about them too much because then it can kind of be like spoilers, and I don't really want to kind of ruin the experience for any of you or any other readers of, you know, like 300 pages, 400, 500, 600 by, you know, this has happened, this and this bit was absolutely amazing, blah blah blah, and this is what happens in the end, because I personally wouldn't appreciate it. So I've been thinking I'll wait for feedback that I'll either kind of give from now on my books a thumbs up, kind of indifferent, and a thumbs down, depending what I thought of this one. Definite thumbs up. As I said before, I love a bit of Scandi Noir. This one's good. Karen's got another 2 novels out, at least another 2 novels out at the time that this was translated into English and published, so there's Betrayal and Shame, and they are now on my book list as well. I am still, look at all this cat hair, oh my goodness. Any spinners out there wants a cat hair? It really is that fine. Right, Paulo Coelho, and again I'm probably pronouncing his surname wrong, so please, I've said this before, please forgive me. The Witch Portobello, as I explained, this is a sort of book that I'll dip in and out of because you just need some time to integrate some stories, sometimes what's being said and the realisations and things that it dawns in yourself. So I'm a good chunk through, I'm 150 pages through, I'm taking my time over it, I'm not going to push it, and I'll get a wee bit more of that done this week as well. And the third book that I want to talk to you about, I'm not even going to try and pronounce this because as I said, never had a French lesson in my life. So I've got a classic on the go as well. My understanding is that this was made into a film a good few years ago now. I think did it have Sarah Michelle Gellar in it? Cruel Intentions. This is the novel, or rather collection of letters, fictional letters that Cruel Intentions was based on. It's supposed to be an incredibly kind of risque read, and it's not the sort of thing that I would normally read, but and it isn't really. I just think it's of that time, 1700s, you know, everything was all about virtue, being virtuous and such. So I can understand why it would be completely scandalous at the time, but it really isn't by today's standards, or it isn't at the point where I am 76 pages in. Yeah, the reason I'm reading this is that I am still working down my 1001 books You Must Read Before You Die, which is a published book and a list that's online. I can't remember the edition that I'm doing. I know that it's been updated and republished since. I think it's possibly 2008 version publication I'm doing. Goodness knows. Anyway, I've been reading novels off this list for a considerable length of time. I'm almost a quarter of the way through that list. It is a lifetime's work, there's no doubt about it. So every so often in between reading books that I want to read that have been recommended to me, that I've just seen in the library and thought, oh, that's good, or favourite authors that I'm working my way through sort of lists of their work, I will throw in a title from that list as well, and this is it. So I'll report back on that one too as we get further through or finish it. So thanks for being with me. We're almost there. There's not a huge amount more to go, guys. I haven't been watching anything at all this week. I've had no television on for the last few days, which has just been amazing. I was dipping in and out soaps a wee bit. I'll admit that I will be watching Coronation Street a bit later on this week, because I believe a particular storyline is about to explode, and the soaps are always good when a big storyline comes to its conclusion and comes to a head. And I wanted to kind of concentrate as a kind of like a listening special today. I've been listening to other podcasts, and they've been talking about podcasts that they've been listening to, and they tend to just list 2 or 3, and I thought that's possibly a better way of doing it. Is maybe the way that I've been doing it and going, well, I've been listening to this and this and this and this and this, just kind of giving you a rundown, is maybe just a wee bit too much, a bit too intensive. And I think most of the things that I'm watching, most other podcasters are watching anyway, or have come across, so it's no big deal. So it's just nice to kind of let you know what I'm listening to. But what I wanted to do today was to kind of concentrate on other Scottish audio-visual podcasters. So those are the guys and gals that are doing it on YouTube. I understand that there are a few that are doing it like on iTunes and things, just as an audio one, and that's fine. I haven't listened to any of those. I can't really comment or whatever, and it's such a lovely sort of sharing community anyway that I would never say anything really derogatory about them. But the way I feel is that knitting is such a visual thing, and if you're showing off skeins of yarn and things, then you want to be able to see them, which is why I've chosen to do it like this. It's why it takes an absolute ridiculous amount of time to upload everything afterwards, and as well to get it online for you guys to watch. I don't mind that. You just have to weigh it up and work out which way is best for you and how you're wanting to do it. But I wanted to share it with you other Scottish podcasters, because I've found a few recently, and I'm just so excited, because I know a lot of the knitting and crafting podcasts come from America, and there's Mina, obviously, who's the knitting expat, who's in Bahrain. Correct me if I'm wrong, sorry, I'm sure it's Bahrain. But yeah, they seem to be like a million miles away, and they've got a particular way of talking. Quite a lot of them are high energy, and what I found is that kind of like the Scottish ones and the UK ones and the European ones tend to be a wee bit more low key. There's nothing wrong with any of the ways of doing them. It's just quite interesting to kind of see the difference. But I wanted to talk about the Scottish ones and just give a wee bit of a bit of pod love out to them, and to make you more aware of the kind of the rising Scottish knitting podcast community. If there are any others that are audiovisual that you know of, please put a note in the Ravelry group, the Eva Christie Hand Knitting Podcast Ravelry group. There is a thread for this, or make a comment below. So first up is Stitch with Sprite 966, who is Orange Maid on Ravelry. This is Helen. Helen is fab. Helen found my first podcast. I think it was within sort of like 24 hours of it going live. I have no idea how she found it. And she's probably the reason that within sort of like the first 24 hours I think I had 11, 12 subscribers. Within 48 I had doubled, which is kind of crazy, and I didn't really know what was going on. And then someone said, oh, I found you because of blah blah blah. I went back and listened. Helen is in Renfrewshire. She has quite a broad Glaswegian accent. She tells it how she is. I've mentioned her before. Now, thank you very much, Helen, for initially giving me that pod love. I know that I've kind of mentioned this before, but it means a really lot because you were the first one who opened your arms and welcomed me into the Scottish knitting podcast community. I absolutely love your knitting work. You're so talented, and thank you. So this really is my big thank you, and I wanted to have you heading off the list of Scottish audiovisual and knitting podcasts. Then we've got Charlotte Knits. Charlotte is so sweet. She is 24 years old and she lives in, I think it's Castlemilk area of Glasgow. She's definitely got more of a Glaswegian, although it's a very soft Glaswegian, sort of, it's gone, accent. She's tattooed, she's got the big glasses. In fact, I think most alternative knitters of our kind of age group, within sort of the 10, sort of 20 year span of that, do tend to have some sort of crazy dyed hair and tattoos. I've got 3 tattoos, they're all on my back, so you can't see them. I'm itching to get some more done, but you know, it's like it comes down to finances and things. But yeah, piercings and tats, and I don't know if you've ever seen that I've got my nose pierced. It's been done a very long time ago now. But yeah, getting back to the point, Charlotte's just a wee darling. She's got 3 dogs. There's Jarvis and Macy, and the other dog whose name I forget just now, and that's just awful, that's dreadful. I took to Charlotte right away. My friend Mary from the knit group had been in touch. She sent me a private message and going, have you seen this podcast because you get a shout out? I was like, no. Immediately got on and listened, and it was really sweet. Charlotte was really complimentary of my work, which she didn't need to be. I think Charlotte puts herself quite down quite a bit what she's doing, and she's really talented. The most beautiful sort of notions pouches and bags and things as well. So she's really multi-skilled. A little darling. I have been speaking with her quite a lot offline, and she's got a little package that should arrive any time at her home. So I can't wait to see what she makes of that. So much love to Charlotte. That was really nice of you for doing that. And anyone who says that they've kind of deleted their old Ravelry account and started it back up because they were going to do a podcast and their username was Seductive Barry. I got the Pulp reference right off. Pulp is in the band. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, and your dog's Jarvis. It's like, I think we have a very similar kind of taste in music. I've seen Pulp years and years ago. It must have been 1998 at the SACC. I saw them at the time that This Is Hardcore came out. Fab Live. I was right down at the front and Jarvis spoke to me. So yeah, we've obviously got quite a lot in common, and I just can't actually wait to meet her in person. And I'm rambling on, so I'll go into the next one now. The next one is a lovely lassie called Kirsty, who is a little bee. So I think she goes under different variations of that. So the Little Bee podcast. Kirsty is based in Greenock, which is outside of Glasgow. It's on the Clyde, and it's just kind of like across the water, or down the water, from the area I grew up. We've got very similar, or at least I think, because when you listen to your own voice it's never quite the same. We have very similar Scottish accents, very soft. Although Kirsty probably uses a lot more slang than I tend to, but I just had this kind of strange feeling as I was getting prepared to sort of record today. I thought, I'm sure I'm going to sound a lot more Scottish on this podcast because I've been listening to so many Scottish podcasts, and it seems to be this thing in Scotland, are particularly sort of regional accents, and there's a lot of regional accents that when you listen to someone who's got a similar accent to you, or you've been talking with them for a while or whatever, that you tend to go broader and broader. And yeah, I think I tend to use my phone voice. When I'm recording I definitely have a phone voice, and I think that's what Helena picked up before when she said I spoke proper. But I was speaking to a friend of mine, Graham, just recently. He's a taxi driver, and he was helping me out with a couple of things. And he went, I have never heard you swear so much in your life. I can swear like a trooper. I really can. And I explained that I've been listening to all these podcasts and I'm thinking I'll just get back a bit more to my roots. It went a bit Ouija. It's like, not so much Ouija, but just listening to other kind of West Coast, Glasgow, West Coast sort of things, and the accent is coming out broader and there's more slang. He just burst out laughing. He's known me about 17 years and he's just never really heard me kind of talking that way. Kirsty is a darling. Again, I'm really hoping that I can meet up with her at some point. She's multi-craft. She knits, she crochets, she spins, she does the most amazing origami. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm probably not, but fab. And I think she and Charlotte have met up and they've really kind of clicked and gelled, so that's lovely. Give me a wee moment, excuse me. So sorry that I'm having to kind of go off camera with allergies and things. Right, and the last one that I just found a few days ago, and I got so excited about this. It's a guy. We have not only a male knitter, he's a year older than me, he's 36. He lives in Dundee, so he's about 16 miles up the road. He is a haematologist working in Ninewells, and I spend a fair bit of time in Ninewells. Yeah, David. Hi. David is going under sort of like a brand of This Boy. So it's This Boy Knits, This Boy Dyes, This Boy Podcasts. So I found him on YouTube when Luzelle, I believe that's her Ravelry ID. She is Louise Lockhart. She has her own creative business called This'll Do You, and there's a bit of Gaelic in there as well. She kind of alerted me to him in the Ravelry thread about other Scottish knitting podcasters. I think she just found him recently as well. So that was a total revelation, and I sat down on Saturday morning and I back to back just watched. I haven't watched the dyeing tutorial, but I've watched the rest of them, and I just really took to David. And Max, his dog, who makes an appearance, is just adorable. But yeah, David again, really talented. Because he's knitting, he's sewing, he's dyeing. His hand dyed yarns are amazing. I love his colourway names. I am so going to have to get him to custom dye some stuff up for me and hopefully do a bit of a collaboration there as well. That'd be really interesting. So I didn't want to get too intense and too fangirlish and scare him off. But it's like, David, welcome to the community. Oh my god, not only are you very close, yeah, you're a guy, and we really especially need to support the guys in this because they are so few and far between. So yeah, so you should check him out as well. And that leaves us with dates for the diary. So the first date that I've got for you is the 5th of June. I shall be going back up to Aberfeldy Arts and Crafts Market, which is held in the Berks Cinema. It will be a Sunday. It will be running between 10 and 2. The farmers market will be on as well, so there's quite a buzz about the the village or a wee town, whatever you want to call it. It's in Highland Rural Perthshire. It's beautiful. It's an easy travelling distance from Perth. Even if you're not any further afield, come to Perthshire. It's lovely. We are so lucky here, even in amongst like the city. You know, 5-10 minutes out in most directions, and you're in the countryside. Hey Tashi, are you singing me the song of your peoples? Do you want cuddles? Come on, oh, yeah, poor boy. Coming back up? You want up in my lap? Excuse me a moment. No? Oh, okay, that's fine. He's probably telling me that his ducks are back. Okay, so that's Aberfeldy, and then after that, on the 18th of June, it's Worldwide Knitting Public Day. Now, I am trying to organise something in Perth at the minute, and I am putting the invitation out to all you guys. I'm just finalising venue details at the moment. I know you're probably thinking, oh, finalising venue details, it's public, it shouldn't be an issue, but in the climate that we live in this day and age, a lot of places kind of need some sort of insurance just to cover it when you've got like a mass meeting of people. And in Scotland it can rain at any point as well, so it needs to be indoors. So it's something that I'm working on. I will put up details on Facebook and the Ravelry as soon as I have them. I'm hoping to have things finalised by later today, if not tomorrow. So yeah, the invitation is out there, in particular to Helen and Charlotte and Kirsty and David. Come to Perth. Let's have a podcasters group meeting. We might be able to arrange something where you can podcast and record from. One little thought that I had about it, I mean, it's worldwide knit in public, but if you crochet, if you spin, anything like that, there's a girl I know that does needle felting, so that's quite portable. Whatever it is, if it's fibre related, bring it along. Let's not be snobbish about this, we're all part of the same community, we're just on different branches of it. So I'm going to get that organised. I had been thinking, because so many people are doing projects with like mini schemes,